All right. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for joining. Obviously, this is our first group call for obviously experienced staffing people, which I'm really excited about. Not that I'm not excited about the other group, it just takes a little longer to get people moving. So thanks for being on today. Can we just go around a quick, because we're obviously going to spend some time together over the next couple of days, and then hopefully you'll be interacting with each other on the sales team meetings. So can we just do a quick run around the room? Name, how long you've been in staffing, anything that you want to provide, like if you specialize in a certain industry or you want to specialize in industry. So I'll go first. Paul Ratcliffe, been in 30 years. I'll keep missing that number out on purpose. And I've been in lots of different industries. My main one is oil and gas upstream, with particular emphasis on major capital projects. So I'll hand over to, let's see, good on the list, Brandon.
Good morning, everybody. Brandon Cooper is my name. Sorry. I come from staffing and recruiting in like the retail industry. I work for Advantage Solutions. So client-based industry, multiple clients, kind of doing full staffing for them, running client meetings, working with them to hit their numbers on like a monthly basis, quarterly basis.
Yeah,
Also come from a sales retail side of things, and like territory positions, kind of sales manager roles. So
great. Okay, thanks, Brandon. Efran, you're next on my list.
Yes, sir. So Efren Salazar. So I've been in staffing for about 5 years full time. Before that, for about 18 plus years, I was in the restaurant industry, in the back of the house, really moved my way up from a line cook to executive chef, and found a way to kind of sort of mix both of those, and just happy to be here now.
Great, thanks, Efran. Perfect. Jordan.
Jordan Maskin here. I've been in staffing for 2 years, but during that time I was a strategic sales consultant and sales manager. So we worked with all industries from startup, small cap, mid cap, PE firms, Fortune 500. And I essentially built the sales programs, but we also staffed sales reps on those accounts as well. So
Right.
kind of on that side.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, thank you, sir. Kristen, you want to go next?
Hey guys, so I'm the weirdo with the camera off. I'm actually with my kiddo. We are about ready to do a follow-up visit with his doctor. He had surgery a couple weeks ago, so it's just a routine visit, and I figured you guys probably didn't want to look at a doctor's office. But I've been in staffing off and on for I don't even know how many years. I've honestly lost count. Started with my dad's company, which is a civil engineering firm. Have my degree as a registered nurse, worked in staffing in the nursing industry, and then I actually started my own um, media company years ago, and obviously had to do staffing and whatnot within that. So I do a lot of graphic design work on the side, which led into me doing political staffing. Don't recommend. Don't recommend.
Wow.
No, I say that very lightly. You have to have very strong beliefs one way or another. And that is a unique niche that I just didn't enjoy. Let me put it that way. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's a little bit me.
Okay, great. Thanks, Kristen. And Melanie, you want to go next?
Absolutely. Hi, I'm Melanie Lane. I have about a decade worth of experience in staffing, about 20 years of sales overall. And I currently co-own a kind of a boutique staffing agency in the Midwest, where we really specialize in fractional services for high level, white label, white collar type of jobs. So
Great. Thanks, Melanie. And I think someone else is just joining us. Let me just. Shelley, you want to jump on for a second?
Sure. Hi, I'm Shelley Hazlett, and I've been a recruiter for 25 years, and I've done a lot of contracting. I've done agency as well as corporate, and I would say my biggest areas are healthcare, IT, mortgage lending, and insurance.
Okay, great. Right, thank you. And Amber, you've just joined us. I'm just asking just everyone go around the room real quick, just quick introduction, how long you've been in staffing and what kind of your vertical focus is, you know, something like that. Just some information on you. Amber, can you hear us? I think you're on mute, if you can hear me. Maybe she hasn't joined.
Sorry, I just joined. I'm from Kentucky. I have been doing advertising sales for many, many years for a newspaper.
Okay.
And he told me I could join whichever group I would like to. So
yeah. Well, I mean, you can join both. The other group I was just saying at the start, you're going to see the same slides. I'm just not going to spend much time on them because we've got, you know, quite a lot of experience in the room. So if you feel this is going too fast for you, then just you can hop onto the other group if you want things to slow down. So yeah, if I do the slides in the order that they are, I think everyone will be asleep within the hour. So all right, so okay, I'm going to jump into the slide deck, but just a couple of quick house rules. Obviously, if there's anything that you want to raise, I'd rather do it in the moment. I've got a very, very hard stop right at well, it's almost an hour and 50 minutes from now, 12 my time. So I'm hoping if we can finish a couple of minutes early, that'd be great. So I can run to the bathroom. We've got a really great client call happening at 12 o'clock, and I don't want to be jiggling on the phone. So we'll race through. But if you do have any questions, please stop. We can always, you know, write them down and get back to you, or you know, we'll get to them. So, right, I'm going to share my screen. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so firstly, welcome everybody. We are really excited about this group. We've got some very, very strong staffing industry, talent experts and specialists on this call. And I think we're going to make some serious money together and have a good time and some fun while we're doing it. So a huge welcome from me. Again, my name is Paul Ratcliffe. I'm the CEO of PRC Group Services. So I'll be your hostess with the mostess, or is it host or hostess, whichever, for the next couple of hours, next couple of days. So yeah, just feel free to, let's say, hop in. The slides are almost secondary for me in these sort of meetings. They're just something to keep us on track. So if I'm hopping through them, you know, please forgive me. I'm just trying to keep on track and keep you entertained in the process. So we do have 2 full days to get through. So I'll be going at quite a fast pace, but like I say, just shout if you need something or if you see something you want me to go through. So obviously we want to get through the onboarding, want you to understand what the process is about, understand the structure and the management support, run through the compensation structure again, give you a quick overview of what the training is ahead of us, and then just really understand where you are and walk away with it just, and I know what's going to happen this week. So if there's anything, again, any questions, throw your hand up, please. And please kind of throw your hand up and pause me verbally. I've turned the chat off for the time being, just while we're recording full screen. So obviously this is split over 5 days. Normally this is compressed into 3. So today we'll be doing day 1 and day 2. So onboarding, company industry overview, and then sales overview. Day 3 is, we've got a couple of slides to talk through, which is pricing, but the rest of it is really talking, and we'll do a live kind of run through of how we find clients, or how I find clients, and then we'll talk about how you do that as well. Obviously we're going to be providing leads, but there's going to be times when you're going to be picking leads up as well. And then day 4 will be compressed in there as well. If anybody wants the day 5, which is where we can go over live calls or mock calls or one-on-ones, anything like that, again, feel free to let me know. I'll send you a document at the end of today, which is onboarding blueprint. It's just really tick box just to make sure that everybody knows what we're going through. And again, because I'm going at such a pace, if you see something online and say, I didn't catch that and I'd like to understand it, you know where I am, please feel free to let me know. Okay, pre-training commitments. We're going to be going over mission, vision, and values in a few minutes. But what I want to start with is, what's everybody's minimum quota, to make this worthwhile? And I think numbers are important. I was just at a staffing summit in Canada last week, and I was speaking in various workshops. And one of the panels that I did was around mindset, around numbers and targets. And I think it's very, very important to have that at least as a minimum, and we can talk about a maximum. And then, once you've got your minimum in your mind, you can then figure out how many hours, days, weeks, months, however, how much effort you want to put into this. And then if you want to get into the top 20%, top 5%, top 1% of the industry, we can talk about those numbers as well. So what's everybody's minimum target in terms of annual dollars? So we get to the end of the year, we're in December, we're all celebrating, we've had a huge year, everybody's winning, and you've got X in your bank account. What would that look like for you to make it worthwhile? And how many hours per week do you think you're going to have to put into that? And I just want to ask, just to make sure everybody's different. I have to work a lot of hours to earn my money, because I'm not a detail-oriented person. I'm just a fast go, go, go. But there's other people that are very, very good at what they do, and they can slow down and do it on a much easier basis. So I think, Melanie, you've hopped to the top of my list by the looks of the video. So what are you thinking minimum for your annual income?
Goodness, you put me on the spot. This is a little bit supplemental for me. So additional revenue stream. I mean, I would love $50,000. We'll start with that.
Okay. All right. And then this is obviously going to be a part-time on the side for you.
Yeah.
So, like I said, to supplement and work with your other business as well. Okay. All right. Good. Ephraim, what about yourself?
So yeah, no, right off the top of my head, same as Melanie over there. It's supplemental for me as well, on top of a full-time job. But I mean, I would be happy with, at the end of the year, coming out with 20 to 25 grand more.
Wow. Okay. We're already going to blow all your socks off, so we're going to kill these numbers, I promise you. Okay. Amber, you're next on my list there. Any ideas around what you'd like to earn?
I'm gonna go to 7,500, and I can work full time.
I'll be very pleased as well. I'm just waiting for someone to drop, like, I need $1 million, Paul. That's what I'm waiting for. Somebody's going to say it, and I shouldn't have said that, should I? Because somebody's going to. Shelley, what about yourself?
I am also doing this on a supplemental basis. So, I would say I'm probably with Melanie at about 50.
Okay.
I'd like to make $1 million. I'm not gonna lie, but I like to be realistic.
Well, I mean, I can't guarantee that in year one, but I've seen people do it. I've seen more than one person do it. It's not been just one-offs. It's been numerous people. I'm not one of them, unfortunately, but I've seen people do over. And the best I've ever seen is 1.8 on his own as a single individual, doing 360 as well.
Nice. As a supplemental, or doing it as a full-time?
That was full-time. Full-time. Yeah.
So like half that. I could deal with half that. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do 20 hours a week.
I could do $500,000 for 20 hours a week. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Thank you for that, Brandon.
I'll be taking this as more like a full-time kind of role. So I'm thinking, I was thinking 70 to 80K kind of thing. So.
Thank you. Jordan, what about yourself?
Yeah, I was thinking doing maybe like 1 to 2 deals a month, so maybe like 120, 130-ish. And depending on when clients get onboarded, etc. For my sales consulting, probably do like between 25 to 35 hours a week on average.
Thank you. These are all realistic numbers. And Kristen?
So I love all the realistic numbers. Can I give you I don't want to say unrealistic, but maybe a stretch number. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm totally fine with doing, full time if needed. I know it's going to probably take some time to get up to that point, but let's just say take home after I've paid Uncle Sam $500,000 as a stretch goal. I don't know. I know we're plugging these numbers into this equation, so let's just see what that looks like.
Yeah, and we're going to work through those as what I want to do is kick off today with that and just get numbers out there, because what I've said to a couple of the other groups is the first thing that you have to do in order to hit the numbers that you've said is first thing is double it. So what everybody does is they automatically put a limitation in place, and then if you don't hit that already in your mind, which is your minimum quota to make it worthwhile, you're going to be very disappointed. Whereas if you double it and you surpass it and shoot for the moon and you hit a star, or is it the way around? That's always been my mindset. So if you've got 50K like Melanie, double it. What's the harm in doubling it? And if you end up with 60, 70K, you've done great, and you've surpassed what you originally set out to achieve. So everything's realistic. It just depends what type of person you are, what industry you fall into, and how much time and effort you put into this. Concentrated time and effort. There's a lot of wasted time in our industry, and that's another one thing. You're going to learn a lot about how I'm trying to dramatically change the approach to the industry. I've taken all of the bad stuff out, and I'm trying to get people to really laser focus on what they do best. So that's what we're here to find out, and we're here to earn as much money as we can in the interim. So thank you for all of that. Just keep those numbers in mind as we start working through the week, and we'll keep touching base with them. Okay, jumping on support and direction. Robin is going to be running the sales team meetings. He is back today, albeit, like I say, he's very stiff, but he will be starting to push some meetings out, and I will be on some of them. I do a lot of client stuff and a lot of other stuff in the background, training and consulting. So Robin will be running the main sales team meetings. So he will get in touch with you as to how quickly you want to ramp up, how many sales meetings you want to join. It is completely up to you. It's not, again, you work with us. I keep re-emphasizing this. You work with us, not for us. So we're not here to tell you what to do. We're here to say, all of this stuff is here if you need it. And we're here to support you as much or as little as you want. So if you do need one-on-one meetings, we're happy to do that as well. And as often as you need, and help you set goals, give you feedback, help you focus on your growth and where your trajectories are, look at verticals, industries, anything at all that you're struggling with. I'm a qualified exec coach as well, so if you need any coaching at all, I'm more than happy to do that. There's no charge. Before anybody asks that question, I got asked that yesterday, how much do you charge? Absolutely nothing. Everyone keeps asking me what the catch is here. There is absolutely no catch, right? There is absolutely no catch. There's no hidden agendas, or we're going to get around the corner, we're going to hit you with a bill or anything like that. It's nothing to do with that at all. We genuinely want people to do really, really well. And if you win, we win, the client wins, the candidate wins, and we all get on with life. So just let us know. Yeah. 1 second, guys. Robin's just popping his head. Just bear with me. I just said somebody's in the. Sorry about that, please. Jennifer? Jennifer, are you there?
I am.
Okay. All right. Okay, we're kind of in the middle of the slide, so I'll crack on with what I'm doing, and then we'll loop back round to you in a second. So the question at the bottom I've got here for everybody real quickly is, how do you like to communicate with us, or how do you like us to communicate with you? We've got Teams, Slack, text message, Telegram. I mean, we've probably got 40 apps now. It drives me insane personally because I can't keep up with it. But we write all of this stuff down and we communicate with people in the best way that we can. So does anybody have any particular preferences? Like we normally use text messaging, and WhatsApp is my two big ones, and then obviously Zoom. But does anybody have any preference that you see on the screen or you don't see on the screen? Anything on there that kind of jumps out?
I have all of them. So whichever is best for you.
Okay. So what's the quickest way to get hold of Amber from all those?
A text message.
You'd be surprised what people say. Is anybody not a text person? Is anybody completely against text messages for any reason and they just only use WhatsApp or something else? Or can I assume everybody's a texter? Okay, great. All right, well, I'll put that down. We'll put it on file. If you do have any other ways that you like to communicate, please let us know, because we do like to communicate in your best way, not in our best way. Okay, so running through the conversation again, it won't be any surprise to you. We're just going over the same thing. It's 25% of the fees of the total invoice value that we send to a client. It's regardless of what that is. So if that's consulting fees, or if that's permanent staff and retained, whatever. The only difference that we have is when we get into the contracting temporary space, and that really depends on numerous things, and that's why we don't show this, because it's completely state driven. One, the insurances and all of the stuff that we have to bring to the table really affect the pricing. So before you go into a pricing model with clients, we ask that we be involved with you, but we will be very transparent as to what that profit is, and it usually works out around the same. But obviously with temporary staffing, it's a lot less until you build up your book of business. So, but regardless of all of that, we still pay within 3 business days. We don't wait till the end of the week. We don't wait till the end of the month unless you tell us otherwise. I think I shared on the presentation, we do have one person that insists on being paid at the end of the month because she likes to have a bump into the bank, which is fine. So we do pay out on a daily basis based on funds coming in from the client. The only reason it's 3 days is just because sometimes it takes 3 days to clear. The only caveat to this is if we start going into a global type environment, or if one of your clients takes us out of the US, that can sometimes mess up the funding. So we just have to be aware of that, but we can talk about that. So we talked about what minimums you guys have got. Now I want to ask you what your maximum is. So where's your headspace in terms of and really go for the stars here. Like, what would be absolutely mind-blowing if you earned X? I know I'm putting you on the spot, and we'll just keep coming back to it because you'll think more and more. But what's your maximum? So Jordan, I'm going to put you on the spot first, sir.
I'd say 2 million would blow my mind.
2 million?
Yeah.
2 million it is. Okay. Amber?
Well, that would blow my mind. I'll just say 1 million.
Kristen?
Same. I mean, if I were to make 1 million or 2 million, or honestly anything more than 50,000 would be amazing.
Yeah, you're going to make more than 50,000.
Sounds good.
Jennifer, do you want to hop in here? And I asked earlier what the minimum is that people would like to earn, obviously to make it worthwhile, and whether they're working full or part-time. So if you wouldn't mind giving us a minimum that you're looking for, and then obviously add in on this slide what your maximum would be. Like, mind-blowing, what would that be for you? Jennifer?
I apologize. It was not unmuting me.
It's okay. Did you hear the question okay?
I did. I mean, it's been a little while since I've done this. I was thinking right at the million mark.
Yep. Okay. And what would be your minimum? Like a
Minimum, I would say, would be 400,000.
400K. Okay. So obviously, you're going to be working full time to achieve those numbers.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Melanie.
I'll just be weird and go 1.1.
Well, I hope to be writing checks for 1.1 million for you. I really do. Brandon, what about you, sir?
And realistically, I was going to say like 100, 200K, but I would be blown away by anything more than that. Anything more than like 200K. That's a
Okay, plus. Great. Okay. Fran, what about yourself?
Yeah, I would say anything above half a mil. So anything above 500K for me would be mind blowing.
Okay. And Shelley?
Yeah, I'd have to say, yeah, $1 million would blow me away.
Okay. All right. So those are the moon and stars numbers that we need to be just having in our mind. Just go for the absolute maximum that you can and have that in your mind on a daily basis. I mean, I wake up every day with a number that I want in my mind, and I've hit it twice in the last 3 years, and it's achieved. And I didn't think it was achievable, really, deep down, but I just kept saying it and saying it and saying it, and it's just amazing how whatever you believe in, the universe works its magic and wonder, and things start to come into play. So we'll start working with you on those numbers and start putting roadmaps together for you. I'm not going to go through both of these, but these are 2 case studies that we had. Did you see these on the original presentations? Did we add these? I know we've added them since, but anyway, I'll run through this one. So this one was who's still with us. She came with a very, very strong sales background, but no staffing experience, never been in staffing at all. Extremely good at building relationships, and quite hesitant at first, but just kept pushing and was very persistent. Not pestering, persistent. There is a difference. And got into a company, a services company, and she won a. It was actually originally just one role. They said, "Fine, stop mithering. Here's a role," and we ended up killing that, and we ended up placing 4 people. All of this happened in a matter of from signing that contract to getting the people placed was about 7, 8 weeks. It was very, very fast track. And then the month later, we had 128,000 come through the door. But what was really interesting about that is because the recruiters were starting to pull from a couple of their competitors, they started calling her as well and saying, "Can you stop doing that? And what is it going to take to stop you?" And we ended up picking up, or she did end up picking up 2 other clients in the same area. So now we're pulling outside of that, and those clients are permanent, ongoing clients for her now. She's got repeat business coming in. So it's just a really good success story. And as you guys start adding, we're going to be adding you. We're never going to share your name, but we'd like to share these success stories with other people that come into the business. But this is a live version, and we've got several of these underway right now. So there's a lot of business out there, as we all know, but it's just the magnitude of where we're going to be in 3 to 6 months in this country is going to be absolutely unbelievable, like we've never seen before. Something that I'll go through a bit later on. A quick question: has anybody not done their HR paperwork? I'll just say it that way. Has everybody got their paperwork in with Robin and got everything signed off? Anybody struggling with anything? Nope. Okay. Questions, and hopefully I've got the answers for you. But any question from anybody on those slides? I know I'm going at a pace, but I just want to make sure that we get through this day 1 and 2 today. Any questions so far? No? All right, great. Okay. Okay, so again, you've seen some of this in the presentation, so I'm not going to be going into a lot of detail. We do when we're slowing down in for the people that are coming new to the industry. We just want to go over the company again. You know who we are, me and Robin, but I will bore you with the same slide that you've seen probably 5 times now, just to make sure you know. And we'll touch on the size of the industry and some of the numbers in there. This is important. I think hopefully you picked up on how passionate we are about this business, and this here is we should really make this bold. We want to get back to basics. What we saw with the industry, it has evolved and it has changed. We've got technology, we've got AI coming. I'm getting a lot of questions around AI, a lot of concerns around AI, and it is affecting the industry. But fundamentally, what we do in our industry, it's a people, it's a human capital business. That has never changed. We have changed as people, but the industry has not changed at all. COVID hit us particularly hard, as you probably all know. We all got locked down, and a lot of people forgot how to communicate, forgot how to, struggle with social settings. I'm coaching somebody on that right now who's a very senior VP in a company, and you would never guess it, but really struggles when he walks into a room full of people. And it was a detrimental effect from the COVID era because he was locked down for 12 months basically. So I know some of the clients you're not going to see face to face, but what we want to do is communicate with them and see them hopefully on video as a worst case as often as possible for the right reasons, and build those very, very strong long-term relationships. I was telling the group yesterday, I've been in the industry 30 years. I came out of the UK. I still have one client back in England, and I left England in 2001. And I still have a client from back then that still calls me, and I help them from time to time. Obviously, I use a network to fill their vacancies. But instead of going to local agencies, they come to me first because they trust me and they know that I know what they're looking for. And then I go out to market and get recruiters to help me to fill those roles. So again, once you get into the repeat business cycle with your clients, it just starts building and building, as we all know. So again, at the bottom here, relationships are an absolute core of what we do and why we do it. That also matters for our relationship between us all. We're here to support each other. I'm sure we've all heard this story of, everybody's kind of grabbing and going off and sitting in the corner like monkeys do with fruit. You can't look at my clients and my candidates and that. We don't tolerate any of that stuff. We're here to support you. We're not here to steal from each other, but we are here to support each other. So we want best practices. We all want to win. So that's again, it's another big thing that we're trying to change within PRC. Again, company history. 2014 is when I opened it. I came out of a 15-year career with a major corporation and established the business. And I actually established a business with no clients at all. I just opened and put the shingle out, and thankfully 4 clients ran over to me, and they're still with me to this day. I think I explained to everyone it was very much a lifestyle business. I just came and go. You can see on my LinkedIn profile that I was employed and then I wasn't employed, and I was doing consulting work. That's what made the business go up and down. When we really took off in 2019 was when we went into Dallas. We picked up 6 new clients. We've still got 3 of those to this day. And then obviously COVID hit, which just destroyed everything. We went right back down again. So post-COVID was rebuild. And then last year was when Robin invested in the business and joined us as Chief Operations Officer. And we're just going from strength to strength now. So everything's really starting to come together. I think we've just, I'm sure you've been there when all the gears suddenly just clicking, and it's like, well, we felt that last year. So we're just really excited about the future, and this year is going to be our best year ever. It already is, actually, on the numbers wise. So we're already killing that. Obviously, me and Robin, we're both 30 plus years in our respective industries. The other thing that I haven't said is that me and Robin complement each other because he's not from staffing. I actually was in business with another gentleman in 2015, which is where PRC was originally born from. I jumped into a partnership and we lasted literally 2 months, I think it was, and I had to walk away. because we had very, very strong ideas on how things he wanted to be high volume, transactional. I don't care, let's just make the money. And I am absolutely the opposite of that. So we had to walk away from each other. So Robin comes in from a very strong sales background, but he's also a very, very empathetic person, and he'll give you we both will, but he will give you the shirt off his back to help you get where you need to get to. So we complement each other very, very well. I think the point on that is, if you've got challenges, questions, or anything like that, ask us both, because you're going to get it from me from a staffing perspective, which can sometimes be slurred. Obviously, I've been in the industry a long time. Robin brings a very, very different approach to things, and some of the things he's come out with already is just like, wow, I didn't even think of it that way, and it's just that different mindset from a different industry. So please lean on us. Mission, vision, and core values, super important. We've read it over, and we will continue to read it over and over and over again. We want everyone to really learn these off by heart, because it's not about PRC, it's about you guys. It's like, if you follow these, then all these guidelines, you will be majorly successful. If you look at the core values, everything was built on, when we sat down and put all of these together with me and Robin, we started with integrity, which we've talked about a lot. And I think if you don't start with integrity, which is in both mission and vision statements, you haven't got a foundation for anything else, right? You can't have trust and respect for someone if you haven't got integrity. It just does not work. So integrity is our core value. Driving excellence, we want to continually upgrade ourselves. We don't want to get comfortable. The most consulting work that I do with staffing companies is when they lose sight of that excellence, and then standards start to not drop, but they level out. And they get, what I say, comfortable when they get into their comfort zone, and they stop selling, they stop recruiting like they did. They're not hungry anymore. We want to be continually driving. And again, it's not about the money. The money will come. It's the standards. If we continue to upgrade our standards and get better and better and better at what we do, our clients will massively appreciate that, and they'll pay us well for it. The accountability is, again, just to keep reiterating, is you're working with us, not for us. So you need to hold us accountable as well as we're holding you accountable. But it's not from an employment or employer situation. It's we want the best for each other. So hold us accountable. If we say something and we haven't done it, call us out. Come and tell us you said this and you didn't do this. Hopefully that will never be the case. But if you feel that way, then please hold us accountable. It's for both ways. And then obviously just come with, which I think we all have anyway, there's a level of trust, and that will build. But let's start with the respect for each other, for who we are. Regardless, you're going to get mixed in with people that are not from the industry, that are starting fresh. They'll be coming on to some of the sales team meetings, I'm sure. They'll probably be more present than you guys will. So just have respect for them for where they are. They have to start somewhere, and they're going to look up to you guys and say, wow, I want to be like you in a year's time. So yeah, it's just giving them that opportunity. We went through this slide on the presentation, so I think everybody got the overall message behind it. I'd really like some feedback, and I'll open to anybody that wants to do that. Did everybody get the message behind this? Was it really clear when I was talking about this in the presentation? I asked for two reasons. One, because it's absolutely important to me. It's crystal clear. If that triangle becomes a little wonky or one-sided, like if you focus on the client and not on yourself or not on the candidates, it's going to start going out of shape. So it's really important for me from an industry standpoint, but it's also important for me to understand that my message is getting across. Not just to you guys, but especially the people that are new coming into the industry. So what does everybody think about this model, and how did that come across on the presentation? Anybody want to jump in?
This is
I
Jennifer.
understand
I mean,
it.
I just think it's,
So go ahead. Jennifer, I think that was you I saw lighting up.
oh, sorry. I mean, I think it makes complete sense because, I mean, it's a relationship business. Let's be honest. It really, really is. And you have to make sure that you're connecting the right people to the right clients. and you're providing service to both. I mean, we have two clients in recruiting instead of one.
Yeah, absolutely. Equally as important. I like to say this to the recruiters as well, because I'm sure we've all come across, whether you're a recruiter and you look at a salesperson or you're a salesperson, look at a recruiter, where they don't get the other side, they don't really understand it. It's like, I'll just tell your client to take them, or I'll just tell your candidate to be there, and and there's that respect drops down because it's not your problem or not their problem. It's equally all of our problem, because if it goes lopsided, it's going to start getting out of shape, and that's when things go sideways. So yeah, thank you for that, Jennifer. Anybody else?
I've been on both sides of the in terms of corporate and in terms of agency. And then I found that when I was with an agency, a lot of times you really just don't have the time to service that person. You take all this time to see if they're the right fit, and then they're not the right fit for whatever reason, and they're just discarded. And that really that was not why I got into this business. I got into this business to help people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oops. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for that. Okay. Any other comments? Okay, great. So can I just ask, does it come across well? Is there anything that you think I should add to this that makes it, because I think this is the most important part, apart from our core values and mission and vision statement. This is the most important part of our business. This is what I keep referring back to, and making sure that everything's balanced out. So is that coming across in the presentation, is what I'm asking?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Somebody else waiting to jump in. Okay. All right. Okay. So who do we compete with? As I said at the top there, we can sit here and compete with them all, or we can compete with none of them, and it's a choice that we have to make. I found this out when I worked at Randstad, which is why they're at the top there, and I can talk very, very personally about my situation when I worked for them. It was a small part of Randstad, but it was part of the big corporate machine. And what I realized when I left there is they're all chasing each other to the bottom of the barrel. I'll do it for this, I'll do it for this, I'll do it for this, I'll do it for this. It's just, they're all going down and down and down in price, and the clients are just sitting there. They're not asking for a reduction in cost. They're actually asking for an increase in standard. They don't want you to do it any cheaper. And if they do come with that, then they're not seeing the value that we're bringing. And I've seen from my own eyes where Randstad have gone in particular and gone in with a very low margin and started there and then gone down from there, and then realized afterwards, like, we can't make any money doing this. So we don't want to start, in my mind, we don't want to compete with Randstad, Aerotech or Kelly's, or the list just goes on and on and on, right? When you look at, we'll focus on Randstad, you look at Randstad, yes, they have a large network of clients and candidates, right? That's their strength. But are they utilizing that to the full advantage? Absolutely not. No possible way. A small portion of them are in there that are very good, but the majority of people in there are not, because they're not being shown or trained how to do that. They focus on large scale volume, high volume transactional recruitment, which has got no personality attached to it. They just want to bang the numbers out. They want to expand into and taking that primary focus on large scale. That's what they take into the industries that they focus on, which is tech and healthcare, where there's lots and lots of volume. But they heavily rely on low margin industries because they're competing against everybody else, which my point is they're going to the bottom of the barrel. So has anybody ever read the book Blue Ocean Strategy? Has anybody read that book? It's not a very popular one, but it basically, if you're in the ocean, what they say is, basically the premise of the book is, when you're in the ocean, you're with all the sharks and you all start eating each other and the ocean turns red, right? When you're in the blue ocean, it means you're out on your own and you're doing your own thing. And that's what I say at the bottom there. We want to create our own space, our own story, and then our own results will come as a result of that. And how do we do that? Is we just keep digging in with our clients and customers and continue to build and build and build a relationship and really focus on what that's going to look like in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. It's something I've asked salespeople all my life, and I've had people say I've never been asked that. And my question always is, what's your client relationship going to look like in 3 months? Most people go, well, I don't know. Well, think about it for a second. And I have this, I'll share this with you, but I won't go into a lot of detail. I have this very weird way of getting people to look at sales from a reverse engineer perspective. So I'll say, and this is not sexual at all before I say it, because everyone's going to go, what? You know, but I'd say, like, Efran, you're going to go to your client, Bob, and I want you to imagine you're laying in bed with Bob and his wife at night, and you all got your arms crossed and you're talking about the day-to-day business. How do you feel about that? You're probably going to be like, that's a bit strange. I don't really feel very comfortable doing that. So, okay, right. So what would you feel comfortable with? How about if you were sat in the kitchen having dinner with them? Maybe. What about coffee in the morning? Yes, I can do that. So at some point, you get to a point where it's, yes, I can do that. Most people start on the other end and start with nothing and go, I'm just going to see where this goes. That's not how you build a relationship with someone. You have a target in mind, which Efran's target now for everybody to know is being in bed with Bob and his wife, non-sexual, to win the business, right? And that's shooting for the stars and then shooting for the moon, and you end up hitting the stars. Most people start with the opposite way is, I don't know anything about this person, I'm just going to talk to them and see where it goes. So I constantly ask, where are you going to be with your clients 3 months, 6 months? Where do you want to be with them? Because you'll go in with that mindset. And sometimes you can also share with them, you know. You'll find yourself saying, at some point, I'd love to take you to dinner, and maybe you can bring your family along, and it becomes very natural and very normal. So that's the point behind all of this. We only compete with who we choose to compete with. So if you've got in your mind, if you've got, well, Randstad are always going to beat me, you're never going to win. You're not going to beat Randstad. You know, it's just not going to happen. So create our own space is the point behind the slide. Staffing industry, this was on there. I'm not going to go into massive detail other than this at the bottom here in 2025. I think for a number of reasons, a couple of them were not on the slide when I said this because it hadn't happened and it has since, is the change in politics and I think what's happening with, you know, the Make America Great movement again, the manufacturing and everything that's going to come back. So there's two things that are going to happen. One is that the baby boomers, as we all know, are all starting to leave. They're all starting to retire. That generation, by far, is and will always be the hardest working generation we've ever had. We're never going to see that again. Certainly not in our lifetimes. The guys that and the ladies that go out and work 50, 60, 70 hours to make sure the food's on the table and make sure the bills are paid on time, like those days are done, okay? And all of those people with that mindset and that ethic, I know some of us have carried the ethic over, but we're not quite where they were. I don't work as hard as my mother and father did. I couldn't. I don't know how they ever did it. You know, they both had 3 jobs and they worked. I mean, I never saw them in the week. I only saw them at weekends. That just doesn't happen anymore. Partly because people want to be home with their families and there's just different ways, but the ethic behind it, the mindset behind it is very different. And it's changing as each generation comes through. So when them baby boomers all retire, which apparently right now there's 11.5 million per day retiring in the US. So is that right? Or is it per month? Huge number. Millions of people going out the workforce every day. So we're going to be tackling a major talent shortage. And the reason I harped on about the hours that they work is the people that are now coming in to fill those jobs are not going to do 60, 70 hours a week to fill that same role. So that means there's going to be need for 2 people or more to do that same job. Might be less money for them, but there's going to be more people needed. Throw on top of that what's about to happen with the US as a country, with everything coming back in from manufacturing, all the stuff that's going to happen, it's going to absolutely take off. I think 3 to 6 months now, we're going to see unprecedented numbers of jobs and vacancies coming out, and clients are going to be scrambling, and these numbers in the staffing industry are going to catapult. And these numbers here, by the way, are from the American Staffing Association's numbers. which are only recorded numbers for people that are, so companies that are members within the staffing organizations. So the stuff that happens outside of that they don't know about is in addition to these numbers here. So I just think we're just going to see an upward trajectory of spend and massive possibility. So, and I think we all need to brace ourselves for sure. Again, we talked about this on the presentation, but I just wanted to run through. We are very, very open about our business plans. We're very transparent as we start moving through our relationship. You're going to see this, you're going to hear it, you're going to talk to us about it, we're going to talk to you about it. We want you to feel that you are part of the furniture with PRC. We want you at the table. We want you to help us make decisions. We want you to, me and Robin don't have the answers to everything. We want to lean on our network of people and ask you what your opinion is. And if you've got any career aspirations to, one, stay with us and two, grow with us, you know, we want to expand into cities across the nation. We want to build out sales teams. We want to get better at sales. We want to continually drive them standards. But we're also acquiring companies as well to bolt onto all of this. And we need people to run them. We just can't do everything. So if anybody does have aspirations, we do want to hear from you after today. And you can do that. Send us an email, text message, talk to me, talk to Robin, and say, this is something that I'm interested in. I was talking to two guys yesterday, and I said, they were asking me why we do this. And I said, well, the first thing for us is we're paying forward. Me and Robin got very, very good opportunities offered to us. That's why we're both in America, I believe the greatest country in the world and with the greatest opportunity. And we don't want to go back to where we came from. We see this as, we do not take it for granted. We're very, very grateful. And we want to pass that on and pay that forward to other people. So again, there's no catch here at all. It's very, very transparent. I think the worst case scenario that we can have is somebody gets to a point where they say, you know what, guys, I've had a great ride with you and I want to go off and set my own business up. We will fund your business if you want us to be shareholders, or we can let you go. And the absolute worst case scenario is that we've got a network of people all around the US that all specialize in certain different things. And if we've got sales and Amber's in manufacturing, for example, if I get a manufacturing job, I can give it to Amber and I know that that client will be taken care of. And if she gets a sales opportunity, she'll give it to us and she knows that her client will be taken care of. That's the worst case scenario, and we're all happy and we're all running our own businesses. So again, it's not set in stone. It's wide open for everybody to join in. If you are interested in that, come and talk to us. Even if you say it's something I'm thinking about in the future, or yes, I want to go for it. You can even change your mind halfway through and say, look, I've had a think and I don't want to do it anymore. It's just absolutely not set in stone. We just want to make sure that we're being transparent and we're showing you that we want to grow. And the only way that we can grow is through people. It's all of us together collectively. So teamwork makes the dream work. All right. Wish that was nice saying, but it wasn't. Okay. Any questions from anybody? Right on point. Any questions from anyone? Anything stand out on those slides? No? Is everyone still awake? I am looking. Yeah, okay, good. Great. Right. Jump onto this last one. So this is normally day 2 that we're going to now, where we talk about, sales methodology, and we're going to training. Again, it is a high level, but I'm going to keep it very high level because you guys are all very experienced. So why do we sell the way we do, and who do we sell to, and how do we look at the key areas of development and all of that? So that's what I want to talk about. So our target audience, hiring managers, HR leaders, business owners, that's who we're going to be talking to, right? But you want to be talking to decision makers wherever possible. We all know that. But don't forget, again, to emphasize the candidates that are also looking for professional opportunities. They've got a gap ahead of them, and they've got a gap behind them, and they've also got a gap where they are right now. So if you talk to a candidate and say, look, I'm looking for a job, where did you come from? What are you doing right now? And where do you want to go? And get them to name companies. I ask candidates all the time, if I could get you a job with any company in the world, who would it be? They're going to give you a company name. That's a lead, right? It might not be where they go, but it's a lead for us and it's a lead for you guys. So I always ask those three questions when I talk to candidates. The best one is where they've come from. If they've parted on good terms, they can give you a great referral. So I think 70–80% of my personal business that's come in is referrals from candidates from when they previously worked there. So I've said, who's the person I need to talk to? And that's, I'm talking to Efran. I keep picking on you, Efran, because you're at the top of my video list, but and Efran's like, I used to work at ABC Manufacturing, and Bob's the guy and he's a good friend of mine. Oh, can you introduce me? Absolutely, no problem. That's how we get through the door. And we're solving problems. We are not selling anything. We're solving a problem, and that's the emphasis that I want to put on that. And we've just got to keep ourselves mindful of that. What's the problem that we're coming in to resolve for them? Where's the pain point? We've got to dig deep into there. So for clients, are they just struggling to find the best talent? Are they losing revenue? Looking at vacant roles, do they have a lot of high turnover? Like, what's going on in there? We need to try and rectify that. But also for candidates, again, you will talk to candidates. I think that the number right now is 70+% of people in America are unhappy in their career right now. It's mind blowing to me that I'm very passionate about my industry and I love my industry, but 70% of people are in the wrong role in their own mind, or they're in the wrong company doing the wrong thing. That to me is just opportunity to make a lot of people a lot happier. If I could have an impact, even just 1% impact on that number in America, then we've done our job. We've absolutely done our job. So the question that I've got at the bottom there, what do you think our clients' biggest hiring headaches are? I asked that in a very particular way. So I'm going to kind of throw that onto the floor for everybody to throw the gauntlet down for everybody to talk about. What do you think our clients' biggest hiring headaches are?
The cost of training, just overall cost.
Yeah. Cost of hiring people. Well, you said training people as well. Yeah. Yeah. Good. How would you? So if I was a client, I'd say, and you asked me that question, Efren, I'd say, well, Efren, our biggest challenge is cost of bringing people in and training people. How would you turn that into how would you take me to a pain point that you can solve for me, is what I'm trying to say.
I mean, I would just initially ask you, if you don't mind giving me a high overview of how your training process goes, right? Just from A to Z, just a quick nutshell, and just kind of just base it off of there. And if I have experiences of what worked for me in the past, specifically in the hospitality industry, then I would share those and see if we can kind of sort of come to.
Everybody still there?